Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Waking up for a nice and early morning over here in Helsinki, Finland. Wishing you well on this start to your weekend. Hopefully you're having a relaxing one because Bitcoin has not been relaxing this whole week. Been going all sorts of crazy. And we got plenty to talk about because there are all kinds of opportunities. I feel like I've been talking about that. I feel like I've said that, that one-liner. We've got plenty to talk about just about every day this week because holy shit, man, Bitcoin really has been the generous giver of opportunities recently. And today, no more different. In fact, today is going to be pretty massive. The next couple of days is going to be pretty massive for price action. It's going to really dictate, in my opinion, how the next year goes. So today we're going to get resolution and in confirmation on what the likely direction is. Tomorrow probably full confirmation. But with all that said, I do want to wish you the best, the happiest of the happiest. And with that, I will initiate the teleportation and I will see you in the live scene. And there she is. There she is on the wrong time frame. Let's go to a daily. And let's actually start off with the higher time frames today. Or no, you know what? Let's actually start off with the lower time frames just because that's what we were talking about yesterday night on the live stream. And we actually saw all of our ranges hit. Sorry, let me go to my BitMexican chart right here. We did see a move back up to the 12,400-ish region as we spoke about yesterday, and a rejection followed as we spoke about yesterday as well. Again, I don't say these things to come off as arrogant, like, I knew it, I told you, or I called it, or target, or whatever the fuck that people say nowadays. It's just, this is purely for educational value, just so you can see how these things operate over time. And of course, as we go over these, day by day and day, well, you're probably picking it up pretty damn well by now. And Bitcoin just playing around between the fibs, no more complicated than that. Very simple stuff right here. And getting rejected right at the 236, and currently fucking around at the 382. So if we do lose the 382, I'd be looking for a test back down to the sub 11,000 region, between about 11,000 and 10,700-ish region. At first pass, just like on first pass on this area right over here, probably do get a little bit of a bouncy bounce. But remember that the medium-term timeframes really don't change around until one of these things happen, until one of these two things happen. Do we take out this level up here to the upside first, or do we take out this level to the downside here first? And when I say take out, to be fully clear, what I mean is by at the very least a 2-hour dodo close, preferably a 4-hour dodo close, as that's going to start to set up the next sort of cascade of events. So if we do break it out to the upside, I would be looking just generally for a float back up to our 13,900 high. Technically speaking, your first target would be about 13,000 even. And you can probably play in the lower time frames, but from a higher time frame perspective, I'd be looking for that melt up is the way that people typically relate that idea. And 13,900, not necessarily the full on target. 14,400 would be the next target after that, and then actually 16,000. So it just belie with some more continuation to the upside. More importantly, and just as likely, is this 10,700 area right here. If we do lose this area, I would be looking for a move at the very least back down to about 10,000 to fulfill the 618 Fibonacci retracement. Typically, if you are going to be selling if you are going to lose the 382, the target for the bots and algos is going to be the 618. But right now, we're kind of still resolving this to see if we are in a bullish consolidation or a potentially reversal consolidation, and that's going to essentially be revealed by which way we break this range. If we're just getting reaccumulated between the 236 and the I don't think it's going to be the 382. I think that we do come down here and test this, but the 236 in the 0.5, then that would certainly be a bullish accumulation. Of course, if we do break the 0.5, then it becomes a little bit more open to interpretation, and we can certainly talk about some more downside targets. And like I said, 10,000 can be the first target, also confluent with the 618, also confluent with this horizontal right here. And as you can see, if we do go to CMEs, we do still have that nice gap in price action right around that 10,000 level as well. So it's psychological, structural, and matching up with a ton of tentacles there. Just as important, if that area does get hit, I probably would overall be looking for further downside after a bounce there, but I do believe that we'd bounce quite strongly there, and likely work our way over time down to like the mid 9,000s, maybe 8,500. But again, that's more long term, and a lot of things would have to happen for that to even be a topic of conversation. Now let's talk about the higher time frames, which are actually going to be being set in stone later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is where I really want to focus on this video, because it's going to have massive implications, and we're going to relate the low time frame ideas that we just spoke about into this idea, and then actually extrapolate it one more step further. So here we are on the we can start off on the daily, I suppose, but daily not really telling us too much actually. Here we are above all major moving averages, so it is quite difficult to be bearish based off that. But it is worth mentioning that we do have daily Stokes headed down and actually getting back below the critical zone right here. If we could actually confirm a close below here, then usually we do get that actual cascade of events, flowing in that direction. It would also confirm bearish divergence on the daily as well, as we do have lower highs on RSI, higher highs on significantly higher highs on price action, which typically does beget a test around the yellow 21 exponential moving average, which is actually right around that low $10,000 target. On top of that, we do have daily Jewel kind of having a little bit of a setup here. This is not the best sell signal. It's a pretty damn good one, but it's not the best. The best ones happen when you get something like this right here. And let's just look at the reaction. Yeah, we went from about, I can't pull up prices right there. Come on, baby. Show it to me. About 8,500 down to 7,600. So $1,000 move. When you get a perfect stars aligning sign, and right here we don't necessarily have that, so it is a little bit up for interpretation as I make sure that I'm actually recording. Okay, good. Mic's working as well, also good. And then that's going to lead us on into the 2-day. Or sorry, it is also worth mentioning that the daily has lost the RSI. We are trading below the RSI, which typically is going to put more downwards pressure on price action. But this is mental masturbation. It's the closures of today that I care about on the 2-day and 3-day. So let's go on over here. We do have 2-day Stokes headed down. So again, more higher time frame technicals are pointing down here. We do see 2-day RSI actually bouncing off the exponential, but we will be working on bearish divergence nonetheless. If we actually can confirm below, sorry, not just confirm below, but just tick below, actually, even easier than that, just tick below the low of this dildo right here, because this is a long-legged doji dildo, or if you want to call it a shooting star, you could call it that as well. I don't care what you call it. It's a sign of indecision, perhaps reversal. How do you confirm it as a local top? Well, you confirm it as a local top if we take out the low side of it, and then we can say that, yes, we would have bearish divergence massively confirmed between this point and this point, and yellow 21 exponential moving average is all the way down around 9,000 or mid 9,000s region. So I would be having a target of that if that were to happen. So the low of this guy is 10,300. If we just tick below them, I would be looking for at first a move down to 10,000, probably bounce there, and then further continuation over time. Also of great importance, and what I really want to focus on today, and this is going to be the focus of this stream, these next couple of concepts, the Trollinger bands. So our 2-day dildo time frame will be closing tonight, and the Trollinger bands are either going to reject or they're going to accept. And what do I mean by that? If we start trending outside the top Trollinger bands once again, I would expect the trend to continue essentially to the upside. Whenever you trend outside the Trollinger bands, whether it's to the upside or the downside, it's insightful of a very strong trend. So over here, trending outside, extremely strong move from 6,000 to 8,000. Over here, trading to the downside, and just extremely strong move from 6,000 to 4,000. Same thing right over here on the move up from 2017, parabolic, just straight up the whole way, trading outside the top Trollinger band. So if we do actually close this next 2-day dildo above the top Trollinger band, which is 11,660, which is not very far away from price action right now, then I would actually be looking for further continuation of the upside. We're probably going to see the lower time frame start to confirm as well, above the areas that we spoke about. So if we do see a 4-hour dildo closing above 12,400, it's likely going to have carry on over into closing our 2-day above the top Trollinger band here, and then I'd just generally be bullish once again, basically looking for us to return to the prior high and beyond. And this is again going to get extrapolated in just a second here, but before we get on to that, let's talk about the 3-day, which is it's just 1 degree more. It's just another day of trading is really all it is. But looking at the 3-day, the top Trollinger band is currently right around a hair under about $12,000. So it is higher than the 2-day Trollinger band. So wherever the 2-day Trollinger band is going to land both these guys, because they do end both tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And if we do close below the top Trollinger band on the 3-day dildo time frame right here, I'd probably be looking for another test back up to test the top Trollinger band tomorrow. But I would be looking for a rejection there as well, as we will also likely confluently close these 3-day Stokes to the downside, which has not boded too well for price action in the past. Especially in this range, historically speaking, a lot of nasty dumps called off this region. Not only that, but we would not confirm 3-day bearish divergence here. We actually have a lot more to do with that. I'd still say tick below 10,300, but that would imply more hefty price action down. And typically, I like to target the 21 exponential on that, and that's all the way down around 8,500, which is going to be actually confluent with a massive gap on CMEs down here as well, coming in back from this territory in 14th of June. So a few weeks ago at 8,500 exactly. And what's up? Oh man, I can barely read your name, but I do want to say, hey, welcome and good to meet you, my friend, and welcome to the cave. So back onto the charts right here. That is what's at stake right now for the 2-day and 3-day, both closing tonight. Whoops, wrong chart. There we go. And even this is like not a good chart anymore. It's like GDAX is the best one because Bitstamp, for whatever reason, just let go of all their fucking history. What the fuck's going on here, man? Trading be really fucking up. I really want that that stamp chart back. Anyways, so with all of that said, those are the two biggest things happening tonight. But tomorrow is a big day as well, and so I think it warrants a little bit of talking, a little bit of prep talk for this one, as those two things that are ending tonight. We will obviously have clarity on that, in just not a few hours, but later today. What this leads on into tomorrow is going to be the weekly, monthly, and quarterly close. So let's talk about these and how that's going to shape it. If Bitcoin does reject from the top Trollinger band on the 2-day and 3-day, then we're probably also going to be rejecting from the weekly, the top of the weekly Trollinger band as well. And this is going to start to look like a massive shooting star dildo. But if we close anywhere above about 11,150, then we're actually still technically trending to the outside of it, and still all is well and good, even on this volume climax, which I typically don't like to do. But looking at weekly Stokes here, we do see weekly Stokes headed down for the first time since literally early February. So these are likely to hold some weight here. Even with their first cross down, I mean, it's one of those things I would not want to trade against it if this does get confirmed, because we do have daily agreeing, we do have 2-day agreeing, we have 3-day on the verge of agreeing, and weekly is going to confirm tomorrow if we basically close anywhere below, especially below 12,000, but I'd imagine below 12,500. These will still be gaining momentum to the downside. So do keep your eyes on that, because this will have some major massive implications with price action, and that's the technical is kind of giving us insight into what price action is more likely to do here. So I do actually lean a little bit towards, I actually do lean a little bit more towards the downside, but let's take this one step further. And also, I suppose it's worth mentioning that if we do get stifled here, weekly RSI is still in question. We don't know just yet. It'd be too hard to kind of analyze that. But now let's go and actually look at a chart of expected moves for right now. This is on, let's go to a daily. Let's go on a daily, and we're looking at this first ring right here, the first standard deviation, which is 68% chance to happen, very, very high in comparison to the second standard deviation, which is 95% chance of happening. So that means it would take literally less than 5% chance, to trade outside. And then the red would be the third standard deviation away from price action with regards to volatility, and that would be, the best way to explain this is expected moves based off of historical volatility, essentially, using standard deviations. Anyways, the third ring is what I like to say, but it's really the third standard deviation here is literally less than 1% chance of happening. So that would be quite a big leap, and that's all the way at 13,100 for today and 10,500 for today. The second ring, as you can see, is 10,900 to 12,600, and the first ring, which is essentially where all of our shit kind of relies right now, is between 12,200 and 11,300. So this is going to come down to the wire here, and that's what this does tell us. Now let's take this out just one step further by going to a higher time frame. We're going to go to the monthly and then the quarterly, actually. So starting off with, motherfucker, and Bitstamp's not going to have the price act. Motherfucker, that's so awful. We can go over here to BLX index, so that'll be okay. Let's take this off, and we do see actually the monthlies are going to try to test the top of the Trollinger bands here. That is pretty damn fucking strong. And if we actually did close anywhere above 13,200, I would be looking for Bitcoin to go quite literally more parabolic than what you're looking at right now. This is moon boy talk. I do apologize about this. I don't intend to cause any FOMO, but if we do see tomorrow monthlies close above 13,200, I would be looking for I'd be looking for 20,000 before end of year, really. We're actually going to expand on that point in just a second. Looking at monthly Stokes, plenty of room to roll here. Looking very, very good, very, very erect, just like we saw in 2015 on the turnaround and bullish momentum being gained right here. Same thing with the RSI. The RSI is retook the exponential and accelerating into the bullish control zone the first time in a very long time, well over a year. And and you see that the first time after being away from it for a long time is typically a damn good time. Not only that, but I think it's also worth mentioning that we will be seeing, pretty much no matter what, a convergence on the red 10 simple and the yellow 21 exponential moving average, which, that's a lower period getting close to a higher period coming from the downside. So it would suggest that trend is strengthening to the upside. and we're actually going to get a bullish cross relatively soon. And again, just one of those things where I want to keep my eyes on it. Let's bring this out to the star of the show, and this is going to be the quarterly chart, which is ending tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time as well. So major things happening tomorrow. And what do we see here? The quarterly chart is actually pushing the top trend band right here. Now we are pretty damn close to it. It is coming in around 11,000. Let's call it 11,300. So if Bitcoin does close tomorrow above 11,300, I would say the chances of Bitcoin getting back to 20,000 before end of year are extremely high, actually. If that were to happen, again, if this, we need to see this first happen, and then I can make a statement like that. But I'll go out on a limb here, and this is one of the few times that I feel it's warranted to be a little bit more on the geez, I'm becoming a fucking permabull, for fuck's sake. This is so ridiculous. I mean, I can't not look at this chart and be fucking bullish. The thing is that we're dealing with really big numbers here, so the ranges naturally are going to be absolutely devastatingly nasty. But when you look at it from this perspective, you can see that this is actually quite orderly with the quarterly chart. Even when, and this is also of course on log scale, no doubt about that. But you can see here, hey, if we do close above that pivot, which we're actually very well above it right now, I'm not interested in shorting Bitcoin. I'll put it that way. And I'd be probably, I'd say 20,000 before end of year, extremely likely. I mean, shit, man. Maybe even in the next 3 months, if we start pushing this top trend band, that would look pretty fucking right. Not only that, but we do have quarterly Stokes been down this whole way from January 2018 to basically where we are right now. And you can see that Bitcoin, from this perspective, again, this is log scale, no doubt about that. But we basically, we haven't done too much damage to price action, especially with the recent advent, and that's just allowing that oscillator to reset. And typically, that's pretty fucking bullish. So you can see that we've also been riding this yellow 20-minute exponential moving average up the whole way, and quite powerful as well. And that's something that I used to use in my former life as a market maker, authorized trader on the floor of New York Stock Exchange, to judge if stocks were generally bullish or generally bearish over a long period of time. Typically, I do it on the monthly, but on the quarterly right here, you can see that Bitcoin has never even really come into like major contact with being in big trouble. I mean, we did have a scare here and here, but as you can see, it held up valiantly, and well done by Bitcoin bulls. Anyway, so that's what's at stake right now. So understand the way that the lower time frames are going to lead into the higher time frames and the macro time frames. So lower time frames, again, very small range, of course, but it does have carry on over into the higher time frames. So this is your 4-hour range between 12,400 and 10,700. Obviously, we do have this actionable area right here at about 11,500. Although I wouldn't really be taking trades based off that. It's these guys that changed, because we trade above this guy. If we actually start closing 4-hour delta above this guy today, then I'd be looking for those higher targets to be hit based off the higher time frames, just because then our 2 days is going to start trending outside, and that's going to lead into the monthly very likely is trending outside tomorrow, and also the quarterly very likely as well tomorrow. By the same token, of the downside would be more in line with a healthy pullback down into the sub 10,000 region, most likely 10,000, 9,500, and 8,500, all areas of interest. And for right now, Bitcoin literally right in the middle of this range. I'm not going to be able to call it here. If I had to give my opinion on it, I actually do think that I think that Bitcoin does have a little bit of downside here. But again, my opinion is fucking worthless, man. I'm not trading this one. And sorry, I should for full disclosure, I am running a few positions on options here. You can see that I'm running about 0.31 P&L on these July calls that I sold just these guys, selling them right out of the money here, just for premium. Essentially, I was selling them a couple days ago just because they're fucking wildly priced. The thing is that the market makers for options probably have no idea how to price these things, and I don't blame them. I don't know how you can price these things. It's fucking impossible right now. We're dealing with a completely new asset, and like, what do you go off of for this? I mean, using your tools from like other commodities like gold or oil or something like that is not gonna even make sense with Bitcoin right here. That's the problem with it. So yeah, been doing that, and then put on a little bit of a spread with these July 26 expiration. Obviously, with my spot positions here, Still holding the same futures positions. My June position did expire yesterday, and then I did something very, 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 very noob. I want to be very open and honest about this, very transparent, because holy shit, man, I feel so embarrassed. But my perpetual position that I started at 39.30, that one I fucked up. I was attempting to add on to a position on the December futures because I wanted to put that same June futures position onto December, just roll it essentially. And what did I end up doing? I ended up buying 100,000 perps instead. Just rushing to get into position because I saw the liquidity there. I saw that someone was offering like 150,000 contracts, and I was like, oh shit, I'm surprised that they're doing this on the December futures. I want to get in right here. And well, obviously you can see it didn't go too damn well. Did it on the perps, and that raised up my average price a shit ton, but that's more of an ego thing. It doesn't really change anything at the end of the day. I'd probably be paying more in funding right now, which is not the best either, but can certainly work around it as time goes on. But again, I make mistakes all the fucking time, man. So it's just another reminder. Hey, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't fucking front run your own self, and take it one step at a time. So for right now, I'm just kind of letting it run. I don't really have any real open deltas on my spot positions. I guess I'm slightly long. I guess I'm like almost one Bitcoin long, about 3/4 of a Bitcoin long, but it's not real position, not real risk. It's the options that I have on right now, which I'm just using the top side of the range. And if we trade to the downside, I'll probably put on the strangle, but I'm not quite sure just yet. I want to see how price action unfolds, and I really want to see the closures later tonight, because that's going to dictate our pace going forwards here. Anyways, let's go check out CMEs. How did they close for Friday? Because they are not going to be trading over the weekend, and CMEs closed very good. They closed very, 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 very well. Sorry, is the right terminology. And we do see, by price action standards, they did. We do see, however, daily Stokes having a fresh cross to the downside, not so good there. We do see daily RSI bearish divergence being confirmed here, actually, and losing the exponential along the way. But we've already had a pretty nasty retrace. That's a 25% retracement. Not so helpful, right? That's the difficulty with trading counter trend. It's like I'd much rather have a bullish, a bullish divergence signal in a bull market. Those are the ones that are going to play out extremely well. Bearish divergence in a bullish market, it's difficult, man. It's super fun. It makes it a lot more difficult. Looking at the weekly did close with a nice body on it, and we are trending still outside the top trolling band for the weekly. So I'd have to say, based off the weekly, this would be bullish for spot underlying charts, just because, well, they're going to get, we're likely going to get marked off that coming into Sunday when they open back up again. So that's gonna likely be a magnet for spot price action. But again, I'd rather just let things unfold here. But that would certainly be on the more bullish side, because it would say that we get pulled back up above 12,000. That's gonna have obviously carry on over into the lower time frames, getting above that area, which has carry on over into the monthly and the quarterly. And you already know where that's going. But I do think it's also worth mentioning that a Fibonacci retracement from the ultimate high to the ultimate low does have a lovely setup with the areas that we're looking at. The 0.382 is coming in right around 10,000 region, matched up with this gap on price action, also matching up with some horizontal supports and whatnot, and also moving out. I think the 21 exponential on the daily was there as well in spot, and then the 8,500 gap right here. There is an area actually between the 382 and the 236. I don't have it in right here just because usually it's going to make the things too cluttered, but trust that it is there, and that would also be matching up with that area. So downside targets, if we were to actually break down here, would be those areas. And it does look to me like Bitcoin wants to sweep this area once again around the low 11,000s. Anyways, what else have we got? Let's go to see how GBTC closed the week. GBTC closing on an up note, actually. Not bad, but getting rejected from this horizontal right here. Island top still in place. I'm not a big fan of this, actually. That would be a little bit more on the bear side as well. Weekly did close with a massive leg, but we did close above the top trolling band. We are doing this on a volume climax as well. This is what makes me very apprehensive. Usually you see major tops and major bottoms being put on volume climax, is what you see right here. Just major volume being poured into the market, and this stands out head and shoulders above everything else, really. So that would be a little bit more on the bear side for me as well. I do want to check out how the miners are doing. This is a mining stock and trades OTC right at resistance as well. While I do think that this one is actually bottoming out right here and is going to be preparing for a move towards about 25 cent, I'm not so sure it's ready just yet. That's a pretty nasty rejection so far, so I'd give it some time. But so far, if I've just looking at more more secondary type stuff, would be more, that's, I guess it'd be a little bit more on the correction side, if you want to call it that. And then we can also look at the Bitcoin longs and shorts, which we do have actually over 30,000 shorts for the first time in a very long time, and about 20,500 open longs. We do have 3,000 of these guys hedged, so it's really 27 and a quarter versus 20 and a half. So the imbalance is greatly in favor of the shorts. And historically speaking, anywhere above 30,000 shorts, open shorts, is where we do come into into issues with price action that has aligned with the too many people in the bus event, right? Because if people have already sold, if they've already shorted, then they have less ammo to use later on, as there's only so much in the margin funding pool. And looking at this right here, you can see that we're certainly above the median for this, and historically speaking, so certainly above 40,000 open shorts is like extremely bad, but 30,000 does put some pressure on price action. So this would be on the more bullish side. Again, all of this is mental masturbation. The levels are very clear. The levels ought to be going off of are 100%. Just those. Jesus Christ, man. Sorry about that. Very, 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 very unprofessional. But my point is that with that in mind, the levels are very, very clear. Those are the things that'll be going off of. This is all mental masturbation, just for really for YouTube fun. But yeah, shorts getting up there once again. Longs are actually below 20,000, and historically speaking, when longs get below 20,000, that's actually lines up with pretty big pumps. So, is it possible that Bitcoin just fucking moonshots here and takes us higher and higher? Actually, yes, it is. So that's I mean, Jesus Christ, man. It's like you can't find anything in this market to agree with each other. This is why I'm waiting for those levels to get hit and nothing else. Okay, cool. So let's go check out the other top shitcoins really quick. We got Mr. Beaterall here, 297 and a half. How's he doing? Holding it up relatively. Came down to our 290 support once again. Is bouncing off it, but this one's difficult here. We're still just consolidating the prior dildo, really, is what's happening. If we go down to a lower time frame, I'm sure that we can come up with a similar range to Bitcoin. Yeah, you can. In fact, you could even adjust this trend line here, and it'd be more or less the same. If we do break back above about 310, I'd be looking for a move just to float up. Technically target would be 330, but ultimately just beyond, just generally bullish. By the same token, if we do break this guy to the downside, I'm going to adjust it down to about 290 even, just to be more conservative. Then I'd be looking for another move to 275. And we'll reassess if we get down around there. But for right now, still right in the middle of this range, so not really too much to be had on this one. If you want to be more conservative, I would be using this pivot point for the upside, about 315. What do our technicals say? Daily Stokes still down. What about 2-day? 2-day Stokes down. What about 3-day? 3-day Stokes down. Weekly down. Weekly RSI gonna be no divergence there. 3-day is gonna be working on some divergence. So if we do head further south, it will have implications with price action. Same thing with 2-day as well. If we even trade below 275 and a half, that's gonna be problems. Probably back down to at the very least 265, and more likely about 250. But again, it's gonna be running off of what Bitcoin does. So whatever Bitcoin does, you can likely expect Beaterall to follow. But for right now, just holding it right in this region. I don't have a huge bias on price action here. I'd suppose this would be a little bit more bearish leaning, back down to about 283. But I'll leave it at that. What about Mrs. Litecoin? Ooh, back below 120. Yeah, Mrs. Litecoin. Yeah, Mrs. Litecoin and Mr. Beaterall actually look a lot less healthy than Bitcoin. Both these charts looking like they're actually forming a little bit of redistribution, especially Mrs. Litecoin. We see distribution at the top, a nice Wyckoff distribution top, massive volume falling in on this first leg down. So the markdown hit, and then right now we're just reconsolidating. So it's looking a little bit more like redistribution here. We do see daily. Daily is really trying to hold it. Again, we can make the same sort of range, I'd imagine, for Mrs. Litecoin here. Pretty damn stock standard. Right here's your support. Right here's your resistance, and let's just actually raise it up, be a little more conservative. Top of the range 122.5. Bottom of the range 114. Whichever way that we break is going to be the next big direction. If we break to the upside, I'd be looking for a move back to like 135 and probably beyond. If we break to the downside, I'd be looking for a move likely to actually 100 over time. Well, first target would be 105. Then we talk about 100 psychological. But yeah. Anyways, what else we got on the other top shitcoins? We got gold over here. My favorite shitcoin. Massive rejection right at this level once again. 14,000. 1425. I am still bullish on gold longer term, but shorter term I am probably looking for this guy to have a pullback. Anywhere around 1380 would look about right. 1380, 1385 would look about fine. Lower time frames, just consolidating to me. Yeah, just kind of playing this area out. Yeah, about yeah, it does have some work to do. But 1385 would look nice. 1380-ish region would look nice. I don't think that you get the full-on retest of the broken resistance. Markets aren't that generous, especially if you're going to fully break out. So that'd actually be quite suspect if we traded back down to 1370. But for right now, 1380 to 1385 would look. That 10 symbol is getting up there real fast. It's getting up there real. It's actually at 1390 right now. You know what? I'd have to pull my opinion away from the lower time frames. Just say, hey, look at the higher time frames. Make it easy on yourself. It's good. It's fucking good, man. I still do have a measure move pointed up significantly higher towards 1515 actually. Link with stinky. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Link is so powerful. Holy shit. So this is what I mean. Again, an example of the strong getting stronger. Holy shit, man. Link is so damn good. I don't have targets for this thing. It's bullish as fuck. It hit my most bullish target, right on this run at 31,000. It even overshot it by a little bit. It's overall bullish. There's no real targets to be had here. It's just good is what it is. We do see Daily Stokes having a fresh cross to the upside. Holy shit, man. This thing can really roll here. Daily RSI. Could be problems at a later time, but still for now okay. What about 3-day? And 3 days just gonna look like one map. This is good. This is fucking good, man. There's no universe where that is not good. Weekly new highs as we spoke about. Man, I thought I was sounding crazy when I said that yesterday, but hey, there you go. What about Cardano? Cardano, not looking as good. So not all alts are. In fact, most alts are not looking anywhere near that. In fact, most alts are looking something like this, struggling to hold on to lows. Now, this doesn't discount the fact that the dollar pairing probably does look fine. We can look at it right here. Dollar pairing looks like it's consolidating, so probably move back down to 8 cents, but I do think that it bounced there. And overall, I do think that this one does make a run for about I don't know, 12 cents, 11.5 cents over time. But right now, still consolidating. It's the Bitcoin pairing that's getting absolutely shreked. So when Bitcoin's down, bad. When Bitcoin's up, bad. When Bitcoin's sideways, good. But we need to go sideways for a little bit more. What we really need to watch is the Bitcoin dominance chart here, which the dominance chart is, oh motherfucker, bastards. These fucking bastards. They deleted all the past prior history, and now we can't go and back test it. But we did have a nice horizontal right here. Yeah, this wouldn't even look right. The scale is completely wrong. We should be around a 64 read. Yeah, this is unfortunate. I think Trading View is just kind of fucking up today. Let's see, BNB coin. What's BNB coin doing? Again, looking like it's kind of losing its footing here. I don't like these consecutive closes below the 21 exponential, and I wonder if we're breaking this trend line here. No, we're not. No, we're not confirmed below it just yet. But 4 hour. Ooh, in this sort of situation, I'd actually just line this one up with the 200 exponential, just because I'd put more weight on this, as it's more, it's a calculated type thing, whereas a diagonal trend line is very, very variable. But I would say that the second we break this area right here, 38 cents, yeah, we're gonna see some downside back to about 32 and a quarter, and if that does not hold, we will be coming back down to about 30 and a half. Actually, but for now, I still think that it is kind of holding it. I give it the benefit of the doubt just in case. However, if you are charting it like this, which is valid, 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, that should be valid. It technically broken. We're actually just retested it right now, but I give it the benefit of the doubt just because the exponential I do put more weight on than diagonal support and resistance. Zcash, what's Zcash doing? Daily kind of flagging out, did regain the blue 3.7 cent exponential moving average, so I do think that it's setting up over time, and you do see a nice support ledge being formed right around 106, tested multiple times, and continue to hold like a champ. I do think that this one works its way towards 134. Zcash looks good here. Bcash, on the other hand, not so much. Again, same sort of thing, being held back here. Needs to trade back above 438.5 for me to be a believer. If we fail to do that, I mean, if we fail especially to get back above 455 and close some dailies above there, I would be looking for further downside. But same thing here is kind of BNB, right? We have this trend line forming right here. And is this basically just one massive, what's it called, ascending triangle? And this is actually a great buy right here, perhaps, but I'd be looking at the lower time frames here. If we do close 4-hour deals below 410, I'd be looking for the bearish side of this one to play out, and we're going to be coming back down very likely towards 369 and beyond to 336 if that were to happen. But for right now, give it the benefit of the doubt, and probably like just going to follow the rest of the market. What's most likely. Tron Cash coming back down to support. I do think that it tries to bounce here. 3.5 cent. Neo, what's Neo doing? Neo, same thing, coming back down to support. Does it try to bounce here or not? It's going to follow the rest of the market, but probably a little bit more downside to $17 even, and then try a bounce there. EOS, what's EOS doing? $6 came down to our support right here, bouncing off that valiantly right now. I do think that it's a little bit more juice in the tank for this guy. Maybe test back around 650ish region. What does the daily look like? Yeah, daily looks like all the other ones as well. So again, it's this trend line. We see the same rising trend line form on basically all of them. So if one breaks, they're probably all going to break. Is what's most likely to happen. Again, 4-hour right here. Any 4-hour deal to close below 572.5. And I'd be looking for further downside to next target of $5 even and beyond. Ripple me nipples. Losing its footing as well, but still holding on to the same trend line. Hey, crazy, right? Most of this market moves together. Daily, is this a great buy or not? I mean, it's a trade setup nonetheless. No matter which way you kind of cut this cheese, it's still a trade setup, right? If you place trade here, you have a very natural stop just right here, and for all intents and purposes, this one still just game as supporting resistance. So I'd actually give it the benefit of the doubt. Even with the weekly longer term, I do think that this thing does hit 52 cents and 60 cents. But for right now, in a little bit of a decision phase. Monero, what's Monero? A motherfucker, they got rid of the Monero chart too. Bastards. It's going to do what the rest of the market does. Upside 115, downside 88. Jesus Christ, man, that's awful. Stellar, what's Stellar doing? Lost its flag formation, so this one was holding its down support. It's hit our next target. After that happened, we did move down to that 10.8 cent region, and now struggling here. This is not looking good actually. I actually love to be a buyer on the white 200 simple, especially on a daily or higher. This one. I mean, does it end up being redrawn like this? Maybe, but I'm not so sure of that just yet. Let's look at the weekly for a second. Weekly looks bad. Weekly looks bearish. Weekly wants to come down to 9.8 cent. I don't like it. I don't like that one. Let's go check out traditional markets really quick. 293. So traditional markets looking very, very good. Closing out the month strong, and everything getting marked up. Weekly closing above our top resistance, and monthly, more importantly, is going to be closing almost damn close to a bullish engulfing, but not quite there. But overall, a lot of good things happening here. We do see monthly Stokes going to be gaining more momentum to the upside, holding the same area for the past 10 years since 2009. Weekly Stokes going to be having a fresh cross the upside, defending the bullish control zone as we approach essentially the prior highs. I would have to be bullish on I'd have to maintain my bullish stance on traditional markets here. So back on a Bitcoin, come on baby, you coming down or what? What's going on here? Losing a little bit more of its footing. So short-term target of 11,200. Probably does try to bounce on a lower time frame there, but remember, and I'm going to wrap this bitch up here. Remember how the low time frames, are interrelated between the medium and the higher time frames, and the ranges that are really going to have massive implications with the greater direction on Bitcoin. Is this right here, 12,400 to the upside and 10,700 to the downside. A 4-hour deal to close above this to the upside is going to have a cascade of events, most likely with leading on to the monthly and quarterly, and then I'd just generally be bullish for all sorts of crazy perma-bull numbers that I don't want to say right now. And if we move to the downside and take out 10,700 to the downside, I'd be looking for a move to the 618 at 10,000. Look for a bounce there, and then we'll reassess. But I would tentatively say probably do have some lower to go if that were to happen. But for right now, I don't think it's appropriate to talk about that. Anyways, with all of that said, I do want to wish you well on this lovely Saturday morning start to your weekend, a weekend of no rest and no relaxation because your goddamn cryptocurrency magic internet money trader. So that means, well, no rest for the wicked, my friends. Anyways, with all that said, wishing you well from over here from Helsinki, Finland. Take care and see you soon.